Maybe Kavanah has a specific meaning.
But we do need to call in.
Okay, I have to call out.
Connected to mobile device. Connected to 2 mobile devices.
Rabbi, it sounded like we were explaining Ziv the same way we usually explain art.
Please enter your conference ID.
But we're in the middle of his Kavanah question, so like.
Oh, in the middle of the Kavanah question.
Yeah, then we're going to come back to the different form.
Please enter your password.
There's a
All
line. There's a card there.
Our Paltiel.
You are participant number 2.
It's not this direction, it's east. I put my foot under it.
Kavanah is much more fine, much more subtle, much more representative of the etzem than anything else, in any other emanation. And the emanation, the emotion for this that gives us a clear view of this, is the story with the host and the guest.
You said it's much more refined than any other
Emanation, any other relationship, gift. The story of the host and the guest, right? He invites him for lunch and gives him a lunch, and a very good, expensive lunch. But what's the kavanah in this whole invitation? In other words, where is the host and the guest present in this entire interaction? That's a completely different level than the quality of the food and the taste and the way it's served, all that. Yes.
I've been listening to this mashal already numerous times. It always comes back. I perfectly understand the essential idea.
You don't.
What? I perfectly understand
Okay.
the essential idea and the comparison of the presence, the presence of Hashem in the world, and us being the guest of Hashem in this world. But there is some kind of a worldly counterattack. A guest who comes to the host, and two factors. The food is absolutely delicious, and the guest is very hungry. Okay, so then even if the host leaves, the guest will finish his meal, will have pleasure, and will satisfy his hunger. I consider this as being another kavanah.
Okay. So here's when the host initially invited the guest for lunch. Was it due to the fact that the guest is hungry?
No, not necessarily.
So forget about that. That's not the invitation. You're taking it completely out of context.
But it's an after the fact.
No, it's not after the fact. It's not part of it. It's not part of it at all. He invites him because he wants to be his company.
Okay.
If he invites him because he's hungry, it's not a guest.
Okay.
If you were a guest by me, for example, Friday night, because you're hungry,
No, but it could happen.
But I'm asking you.
No, of course not. Of course not.
So if you interpret it, I invited you because you're hungry, or you think I'm inviting you because you're hungry, you would believe. So forget about it. I don't need your favors. This is why I'm saying there's a subtle element in Sechel which is attacked from all sides, and we have to stay clear of it. As we said many times, Sechel is a neshama elevation, not a worldly experience. Okay?
Rabbi,
Yeah.
the way we explain Ziv sounded the same way we explain usually, but we mentioned there's a difference.
No, it's not.
It sounded, it seemed like, because we said it's like the presence of the person, it sounded similar. I didn't notice a distinction.
Okay. That's why here he was Ziv Hashemesh. Not Oir Hashemesh. I say Ziv Hashemesh. Again, we have come into something very subtle elements. We have the ability to understand this. But we have to know that we have the ability to understand it due to the fact that we were given that ability. We have that neshama, that intellect that Rebbe gave us. Like the Rebbe says, as we learned here, Sechel, Zehu Nishmosei. Remember that? We spent a lot of time on these 4 words. Sechel, Dehainu Nishmosei. Everybody understands that Nishmosei is not a worldly presence. And there is no way to understand what Neshama is with worldly parameters. The same is Sechel. And we pointed out something that is even more obvious. Said that when the Eibusher created the first day light, it was a completely different light. There was no luminary. And the Gemara says that was nignas. That was concealed because the world could not sustain that in that kind of light. And there, Hashem called, gave the name of Yoim to Oyer. So we always have the question, what's the difference? You call it Oyer or call it Yoim? And moreover, since Adam Rishon was given the privilege to name all the creatures in the world, why was he not given the privilege of naming a day, light? This Hashem named himself. The answer is because Adam Rishon was able to name everything that he can place into the world. This does not have a place in the world. And therefore he couldn't name it. Just as the Rebbe created the world, he was able to create this type of world. And the name for that is assigned by the Rebbe himself. take it a notch deeper, if I may. Do I have you with me? Yoim, Exodus is called Gilui, revelation, which means complete removal of concealment. Reveal everything that's there. Who is allowed to reveal what there is, if not for the creator of it? It's only his to reveal. For everyone else, it's an object. This is Vayikra Elokim lo er Yoim. And that's why he said that the Yoim transformed the whole materials of the world.
For everyone else, it's an object.
And everyone else, everything is an object, is another object. Yoim reveals the truth of the creation.
For everyone, it's stuff and things, but he reveals significance and their interrelationship.
He reveals how everything that exists in the world is really part of the same creation. That's what you said by the human being. And going in circles of it. A human being has 613 different limbs, different parts, which correspond to 613 different koichas hanefesh. And then we discussed that God created the human being by creating these 613 individual parts and then put them together. Or he created one entity. That when you come to dissect it and understand what's in it, you find that 613. But really, it's one true entity. This is beyond world. This is called Samein Kid Musain. It's a godly presence.
Is this Esther Spirit like
This is a godly presence.
Right. To have one true entity is only by revelation.
Mm-hmm.
To have one true entity, like we said about the man, that's right. Only by
revelation.
Without
by
that
what?
revelation, without that, you just have pieces, 613.
Wasn't an animal also created at once?
Yeah, but what is an animal? A worldly creature.
What you say now, that something which is created at once, that's...
No, you created at once a godly person, a human being. The animal is part of the world.
What's the yom part of the man?
What?
You're saying now that the point that he was created once, this is what makes it godly, no?
No. The point is that the 613 koiches, which include Sechel and Midas, super worldly qualities. The animal does not have super worldly qualities. The animal is an animal.
What's the yom part of Adam? Does Adam have yom within, not as he's part of the world, but as he is himself?
I don't understand the question. Where are you coming from?
I want to know, really where I'm coming from is, but I can't get there unless you answer that question.
I'll get there. Understand the question.
I'm trying to understand, really want to understand what does Torah mean to Adam? What? But let me go back to you didn't understand my question. Hashem created the darkness, and then he created Yom. And here we're touching on it with Shlomo's question. What did he give to Adam that, like we say, he made him a godly creature because he made him all at once with his 600.
No.
Okay, I didn't want to go there, but I'm trying to.
That's not
my question is, what was brought into Adam that makes him
A
young?
godly soul.
Godly, okay. That's godly soul. How does, at that point, is he potentially, where does potentially Torah come to this? To this, as he is a vessel, he's a godly soul. A godly, at that point, is he a receptor, is he a vessel for Torah?
Sure. That's the only reason he's a vessel for Torah. Can you teach Torah to a dog? Or a guy, for that matter?
Is this Torah, is the Torah the completion of Adam? Is it without this he is not yet complete?
He is complete, but the plan for his creation has not completed.
Okay.
What was this marshal of the person not being what's named day?
Well, what?
What is this? What is this coming in? What context is it coming into? This
What?
That the human being cannot name day, but can name only things which are in the world itself.
It is. I want to point out that day is really not a worldly concept, and the proof of it is that Adam Rishon was not given the task of naming it because he couldn't name it.
Why did you brush off my question before?
What?
Why did you brush off my question before?
Because the question came from left field. I don't remember exactly what you were saying. You related to what?
I asked if this what we're explaining about day is connected to the Esser Spheres.
Esser Spheres Agnosis.
Right.
We're talking about Esser Spheres Agnosis. There is an element over here that allows us, that helps us to understand it by the motion from day. And we have, I know you're confusing things. Everything has to come together. Esser Agnosis is not day.
Okay. Cool.
The year that Esser Agnosis is bottled, because you Hashem Matron, that's day.
But a person is godly, so if a person is godly, why couldn't he name the day, which is super worldly?
He has the ability to understand that which is being told to him, but not initially identify it. And even after he understands what's being given to him, it is still challenged. In other words, he has to continuously be taught. So by Dabar the Rebbe continues to say these words. If Rebbe says to say these words, we would lose it.
We touched on day and looked at that so carefully because it's from inside now. We said that's to understand how things are bottled in a bigger context. Yeah.
Okay, so this the last three lines of the previous section. This is what we labored on, and again, please understand, this is speaking to Sechel, not to your feet, not to your hands, not to your mouth, not to your eyes. There is no Gashmizik means by which to understand this. The reason it's being told to you, and the reason that it is that we do have the capacity to relate to it, is because we have Sechel. Sechel is a neshama emanation. Just as we do not understand what life is, We don't understand what Neshama is. We don't understand what Sechel is. In real terms of what we don't understand what it is. We happen to have it. It is a godly gift. Sechel cannot be proven. Sechel, either you see it or you don't see it. Just like at the lower level, sight. We said it many times. I'm holding this cup. I know there is a cup here. What the proof is? I feel it in my hand. That's the proof there is a cup here. That's not out of whack statement. I know there is a cup, and the proof of it is I can see it. That is an out of whack statement. Because sight is not. If you have to prove what you see, you're not seeing it. Seeing it, you see the reality itself. That's what sight is. That's what chokhmah is. If you base it on proof, you're not employing that quality at all. If the presence of the world is proven to you by his sight, you're not relating to the world, to the God, the creator, that the world that God presented to you. Yes, we understand that?
Because
I know about it.
No, please. Wait, no, I want you just tell me. I missed the point here. I'm sorry.
What?
Sight will not tell you what the world is.
Not proof. Sight cannot be referred to as a proof for the fact that there is a world. Because proof means that you know it in third person, not directly. Sight is not in the realm of proof. Sight is where you relate to the reality itself.
So you do know the world through sight.
Yes, but not in the form of a proof.
And not as a proof. It's your God-given ability to see what is being shown to you.
Exactly. But it's reality itself.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't run away.
I've taken you this far. Please listen to this. Please listen to this and try to understand. The halacha states, we mentioned it many times recently, that in order to give testimony, you have to be able to see. You have to have seen it. You cannot give testimony to anything that you have proof that it's true, but you haven't seen it. The classical example of this is the story with Shimon ben Shetach. Shimon ben Shetach was a great Tana. And he writes in a Mishnah that he observed someone chasing a man with a knife. And the man ran into a cave. And Shimon ben Shetach followed him into the cave. He comes into the cave, you see the man lying in a pool of blood. And the knife is in this chasing, full of blood. So Shimon ben Shetach approaches this man and says, I know exactly what happened over here. What can I do? I don't have the power to testify against you. I have proof. But to testify, in order for you to be punished as you deserve, I have to have a witness. To throw you into jail, something else. If you're a dangerous man, you have to put in there. But to kill you is not, I haven't seen it. You deserve death. But I am not the one who has the power to do that, because I haven't seen it.
He hasn't seen the act of killing.
That's right. Does he have any doubt as to what happened? There was nobody there. There was nothing. It's in a cave. He chased him right in the cave. Pretty brave, Shimon Shetach, isn't he? Don't you think? What do you think?
Say that again.
What did you say?
He's pretty brave, Shimon.
He was pretty.
Brave, Shimon Shetach.
He was pretty brave.
He is pretty brave.
Oh, to walk into that cave.
To say to him and walk into there and confront him, you have to be a man of spirit.
Spirit gives the bravery.
Huh?
Spirit gives bravery.
I'm sorry?
The spirit is the thing what gives brave a person to do.
All right. You don't have to follow every crack and crevice. So, and yet he can't testify against him. He can testify in terms of proof, and he should be punished. Whatever, he should be detained. He should be safeguarded. He should sequestered because he's a dangerous man, but not killed. The punishment for murder is missing.
Okay, now our point is here that there's no alternative to what happened. We know what happened, but you cannot testify if you do not see it.
In order to testify, you have to have the reality itself.
So it is not
Another, even more pointed point in this. The Torah says, if somebody transgressed did certain aveira, there's all kinds of different aveiras, where it says that he has to be put to death. And it says, Yad ha'edim tiyeh be'rishim. The witnesses are the ones who should kill him. Why the witnesses? The Bezdin paskin that he deserved death. Well, the Bezdin put up a henchman who would kill him. So the Torah says, no, Yad ha'edim. The witness will be the first one to throw the first stone. So there are several aspects that can be identified related to this. One of them is very succinct, very, very important. Every transgression, particularly one that goes to the point where it's punishable by death, punishable by death means that this was a transgression that is an offense to God Himself. God gives life, nobody else can give life, and only God can take life. This type of offense, if you say that he is put to death, means that he has offended God Himself directly. There's an interesting caveat in this halacha that in order to kill him, he has to be warned. If you do this, you're liable. You're transgressing avera that is liable for death. And he has to say, "Okay, I go for it." Else became. No one can kill a person, even a Bezdin, unless it's for security purposes. But in terms of punishment, nobody can kill a person only the Rebbe. When witnesses observe this kind of transgression, so they observed how this person violated, it was Machal Hashem Shemayim. Therefore, it is imperative that they avenge this Chil Hashem. Which is why they're able to do that. And only witnesses can do it. They saw it. It's not a question, did it happen? They are privy to this offense, and they have to avenge this violation. This is what punishment in Torah is. Punishment is atonement. And that occurs only if he actually observed it. So, why? What's the difference whether he has proof, unchallengeable proof, or seeing?
And this seeing is a Sechel moment.
Seeing is Chochmah moment. It's the highest level of Sechel. It's the reality of Sechel. Everybody has experienced this many times, and we mentioned all the time. You can talk until someone says, "Oh, I see it." Did I see it? You just explain the whole thing. So explain is not sufficient. He has to reach into the essence of your Sechel and says, "I see it. No, I get it."
That's how this is the means of approaching
approaching any see this here. This is extremely challenging. He says, "There's Esses Filas Agnuzis." Should I go back on this? Esses Filas Agnuzis. The Esses Filas Agnuzis are contained within the Ayin Seif. As such, they do not have a sphera function. They contain within the emanation. But you want that the sphera should come to function. But I want Chochmah, Bina, Das. I want to reveal the spheres. What do I do to reveal the spheres? I take the emanation away. And now we have the spheres. That follows the muscle of the oisies and the word. You have a word, and the oisies that comprise the word. The voices are completely contained and bottled to the word. But then you take the word away, and now you have oisies. Now you have these oisies. L'choira should be the same thing. L'mayla says L'mayla doesn't occur that way. It also occurs that way, but not in such a, not so to speak, in a direct result. After that, you take away the oil and soap. You still have to apply a tzimtzum to the spheres. Am I dragging you where you cannot come? Do I have you with me?
Yeah.
This means the following. We have Sechel. It says Sechel is neshama. After that you have the Chochmah, and you have the truth as a Chochmah reveals it to you. You first have to apply a tzimtzum to bring the Sechel down to your thought process. Doesn't automatically become what we call the tangible Sechel of Bina. Between Chochmah and Bina there's a tzimtzum. Although it is a direct flow. But in order that it should be graspable, what we call grasp, it has to be a tzimtzum. I'll put it into words and let you contemplate it. Chokhmah, in effect, the substance and the power behind Chokhmah is what's called Amunah. As long as the Chokhmah is completely imbued with the Amunah, there's no way to put the Chokhmah into Bina. You have to bring the Chokhmah into its own world, the observable world. Then it can come into Bina.
This is the second symptom.
No, this is the first symptom. You remove the Amunah element. It becomes Sechel.
The Amunah is like the inside.
That's right. Even after that, it came into Sechel, into Chokhmah. You still have to apply a tzimtzum in order for it to be grasped by Bina. Doesn't happen automatically.
And that's the second symptom?
That's the second symptom. The way it works, in fact, that after that you understand, you see the Indian, you have to focus in and see what's in it. That's when you begin to identify the Bina elements in the Chokhmah.
Seeing what's in it. Okay. Yeah. Not taking it apart, but making it revealed.
That's it. Shake. Okay. And the Rebbe explains why is that? Why is it a separate step? You remove the oil insert, you remove the Amunah, you have the whole Sechel. Says no, not so. Why? And here is the most subtle element
Not so
of this whole discussion. Huh?
You said remove the Amunah, you said, then you said something else, not so.
It doesn't become automatically understandable. The Rebbe says the reason for that is because while it is between the oil and safe, between the Amunah, in our motion, it is bottle kibitul ziv hashemesh bashemesh. It is an element, a level of beetle that the only way we can assume it is ziv hashemesh bashemesh. The ziv hashemesh while it is still inside the shemesh. This Ayin we discussed many times, and therefore we have to rely on that discussion. The one word I mentioned is this. The point to understand it, the point to understand about the Ziv HaShemesh is that in fact the Ziv HaShemesh, this is Shemesh. This is not a separate thing. As we said many times, Chassid explains, the sun brings day, light, not by emanating some kind of a light. But the presence of the sun, that's when darkness is eliminated.
What does Ziv mean in that context?
It shines it up. It lights it up.
Hello?
Yeah, 1 second, Baruch. 1 second. Right? Ziv means that the presence of the sun now encompasses and affects the entire environment. Why does the Shemesh, how does Shemesh affect the entire environment?
Why?
Yeah, how does that
we
happen?
just said it was like an Atzmi presence.
Otas.
So that
It's
would,
not present. The Atzmi automatically claims the entire environment where it is.
right, so with that said, what does Ziv even mean?
Nonetheless, there's the Shemesh, and there is the environment in where it is felt. The environment of the world is called encompassed by the ziv.
The rays.
The ray, not the ray, the shine. The ray is like we say there's two separate steps. There's a ray that hits the object. No, this is the shine. This is the light itself.
This light does not move.
The amount of we should understand. I'll try to understand it. I mentioned this. We have no problem with light. We experience light all the time.
Can I get my question in here somewhere?
Yes, but just 1 second. Just want to finish. We have no problem. The reason that we do not have problem with understanding light, the real reason is because we observe sun.
That gives us like a so-called physical
anchor. This real. Light is real.
Without the sun, we'd be wondering what.
Without the sun, it will be a process. We have to prove. Oh yeah, and then it will remain in the dark even if it's light.
But because we have the sun, we have like a.
We have the reality of light. Yes, Baruch, your turn. I'm sorry.
Okay. So is this
And Akiva just
to-
raise the volume of your voice, so speak up.
Well, that's the first and last time you'll ever do that. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt now.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, Ziv, you just said this, but I want to get it clear. Normally the way Ziv is translated, in Tanya and other places in the English translations, they use the word ray. So two things. Number one, you're saying a ray is not, Ziv is not a ray.
Right.
And number two, it seems as though, when you think Ziv, you translate ray, it's like we're talking about one ray. But of course, when there's a light source that's emitting light and rays, there's a lot of rays. And here, it doesn't seem like Ziv is a singular thing of which there are a lot of them. Ziv is a stage or a phase of the sun. It's not, like the product of the sun, but there's a whole bunch of these rays.
Right. It's a poor translation. It's hard to it's a poor translation. Translate Ziv
Right.
Closer to shine.
Shine. Right. The shine of the sun is not a bunch of shine. It's one thing. It's a phenomenon of the sun.
That's right. It's the presence of the sun itself.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. And you should shine. And your life should shine.
Yeah, how about I? Okay.
What?